in my bid to make sure that I upset as many people as possible, seems to be my whole mantra this offseason, I've decided to do another top 10 list. And I'm going with top 10 starting goaltenders, so projected starters this year, who I think are most motivated to bounce back from a poor or perceived poor season, or just to push their team a little further. Number 10 on the list, I'm going to go with New Jersey's Cory Schneider. Schneider was a fantasy favorite all over up until this past season. I don't think he's done, and I don't think he's out of the realm of top 10 goalies in the league completely, but he's flirting with it. So he has to have a bounce-back season. He played better in the second half than the first, but it still wasn't Cory Schneider's season. Number 9. Semyon Varlamov of the Colorado Avalanche. Semyon Varlamov is a decent goaltender who's watched his stats plummet, and last season he also was hurt quite a bit. So there's going to be motivation this year to do it, and he's got Bernier breathing down his neck. Bernier showed in Anaheim last year that he can carry a team for a while if he needs to, and he'll have even less pressure in Colorado than he had in Anaheim. And Bernier seems to thrive in situations where there's no pressure on him. Number 8. There it is. Antti Raanta, Arizona. Raanta had a good year. Goes to Arizona, and I'm already reading in magazines and hearing people say, well, he's not really a starter. I don't project him really as a starter. I think he's miscast as a starter. I think he's going to struggle. And it was between him or Scott Darling to put on the list. And I didn't put Darling on the list because I don't think he's under the same pressure in Carolina, and he's got Cam Ward behind him. Raanta has Louis Domingue behind him, and he's just expected to do it. Number 7. Oh, I don't have a... Obviously don't have anything for this guy because Marc-Andre Fleury's in Vegas. It's a nice story, isn't it? Marc-Andre Fleury goes to Vegas. Now he doesn't need to worry about putting up stats or winning games. He can just enjoy Vegas, enjoy his new bright silver gold jersey and being happy, and just ride off into the sunset. I actually think he's very motivated. I think while Vegas may not be a very good team, he can be a very good goaltender. And I honestly think he'll play some of the best hockey he's played in a while this year. Because people are already ready, like, oh, isn't that a nice story? Good for you, Fleury. You're such a nice guy. And it's sort of like you can almost hear them saying, it's great he gets to retire in Vegas. And I don't think Fleury's ready for that kind of talk. Number 6 is right here. Steve Mason in Winnipeg. Mason is an up-and-down goaltender. Mason's coming out of a situation in Philly where he took a lot of blame, and rightfully so, for what happened with the Flyers. But he's going to be motivated in the Winnipeg territory, the Winnipeg global support system. I'm just making crap up. He's going to be very motivated to do well for Winnipeg because I don't think anybody's expecting it. And he's got Connor Hellebuck breathing down his neck, and he's going to want to keep him at bay. Because something tells me that now the pressure's off Hellebuck that he's going to play better. It'd just be like him, wouldn't it? Number 5, Ben Bishop. Bishop had a strange campaign. Looked good for Tampa, and then traded from Tampa, and then iffy for LA. Injuries in between. I honestly think he's going to be motivated to be better this year. And I think that has to favor Dallas. But part of the reason when I did the season preview that I had Dallas in the playoffs but just barely is because I don't want to overestimate and get overly excited about Dallas. I think they're going to be better. I think he's going to be part of the reason why. And I think it'll be an interesting story for him this season and whether or not he's able to turn it around. Number 4, also injuries, this time a lot of them, Jonathan Quick. Jonathan Quick is, for my money, one of the best goalies of this generation, but injuries this past season definitely derailed him quite a bit. He only played 17 games. he looked good. I honestly think he looked very good when he came back from injury, but he's going to need to maintain that all season for the Kings to really have a chance. And a motivated Jonathan Quick is a dangerous, scary Jonathan Quick. Number 3, I should say. Robin Lehner, Buffalo Sabres. Lehner very publicly feuded last year, pretty much with the team. And he's still there. And I think Lehner is a decent goaltender. I think he gets more flack than he deserves. And I honestly think this could be a big coming out party for him this year. If Buffalo makes the playoffs, Lehner has to be really good. I know Eichel's going to get better, and I know there's a lot of players in Buffalo to be excited about, but it's going to come down to that guy. Number 2. Philadelphia's Brian Elliott. What a difference a couple seasons make. He goes from being revered as one of the best goaltenders in the league in St. Louis, which I thought was too much. I never bought it. I always thought that his numbers were more a result of the system that St. Louis employed rather than him being spectacular or superior to other goalies. And yet, towards the end of his time in Calgary, I thought that he was overly criticized. I thought he was pulled too quickly in the playoffs. And I really think this year's going to be about redemption for Elliott. His redemption will decide the fate of the Philadelphia Flyers, because goaltending has been a revolving door in Philly. And if he can close that revolving door and prove that he owns the net, they got a chance. And number 1, speaking of revolving doors in net, the Calgary Flames. I've read a lot of comments in the offseason, both on this channel and off, about how Mike Smith's 35 years of age, and that's Calgary's idea to fix their goaltending problem. LOL. I don't necessarily agree with the LOL. I do kind of feel like Mike Smith was a good goalie on a bad team, and that might have made him look like an all-star. So I'm not as convinced as some others might be that he's necessarily going to be the answer for Calgary, and Eddie Lack as a backup. It's a precarious situation, for lack of a better term, that Calgary's put themselves in. They have a very good young team. There's no reason they can't contend. There's no reason they can't get a lot better. The move to bring in Mike Smith is going to tell a lot of that story. So there you go. My top 10 from Mike Smith through to Cory Schneider. Let me know which starters you think are primed for this kind of a motivated 17-18 season. And let me know why in the comment section below. And hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. Thank you so much for watching. This is me, and I'll talk to you again soon.